Rosa Parks said no. That's it. And it's in the history books. Jasmine Crockett said no. You look like an orangutan. And it's funny. What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? My God, thank Ganja, it's Friday. We made it. We're here. And we got a lot for you today. Hopefully you saw what we did earlier. I put out a little taster, a little appetizer. Speaking of Marjorie Racist Green and her recent tweets, doubling down on the unintelligence of other people as if she's not a Cro-Magnon herself. But we're here with the illuminated, the actually intelligent. My co-host, Laura Malcolm. What's going on? How are you?
Oh, TGIF.
Yes.
Another crazy week behind us.
And this one was, the other ones had a lot more stuffed into it. This one, I think, just had really big stories stuffed into it, so it's not as crazy. But if I know you, and you know me, we got to start with the idiocy, the funniness. Let's talk about this fight, and then we'll go from there.
So this week in Arizona, the legislative body for District 2, is that Maricopa County?
I don't know, but it has the same guy causing the same problems every time. So I would guess it's him. What's his name?
Christian Lamar.
Oh my God.
Maricopa County Legislative District.
All right.
Okay, there was a committee meeting where the Republican Party representing the 2nd Legislative District got to censure this guy, Christian Lamar, for all of his refusing to behave in meetings and raise his points properly. And he's voted repeatedly against them and violated the bylaws and rules of order. The membership committee received numerous complaints about his disorderly conduct. Multiple attempts have been made to engage Lamar in productive dialogue outside of formal meetings, and he's bullied the chair into doing what he wants. Even though the chair has given him instruction on how to do his motions, Lamar's used social media like X to complain about actions taken against him, and they basically say his actions are not consistent with the Republican Party's values.
Well,
so they moved to censure him.
This is what's funny about that, Laura. What values?
Exactly.
This is why this is happening. So the reason why we laugh at these fights, number one, is simply because when you say it's not consistent with our values, which one? January 6th? Or the one at CPAC when you're crying and praying with the people who were pretending to be locked up for January 6th? Or was it the ones, which values? The one where the January 6th insurrectionists are singing the national anthem with Trump talking over him, and that he plays at every rally? Which one of these values doesn't he represent? Which one of these values isn't he doing right? I'm with Christian. You guys have proven yourself to be lawless for so long that people who want to constantly be victims have found refuge in District 2. Go ahead, Christian. Do your thing. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So you bring this on yourself, and then this guy calls him. You guys, just watch this video.
No more rhinos in this place. No, you shut. No more rhinos in here. He's got a motion.
I have a motion.
Yeah, you want to do it?
I have a motion.
You want to do it?
I have a motion.
He wants. You want? Keep an emotion on the floor.
So they're calling Carver the rhino, and Lamar doesn't fit their values. So what's left?
There's nothing left. It's a cult of Trump. The only way that anybody can decide who's right or wrong is if Trump tells them what to do. They're becoming this, and as the great Midas Touch pointed out, this is a separate fight from when they were kicking each other in the balls in Michigan. Okay? And just constantly fighting in school boards and courtrooms and everywhere you can go, because they've been so riled. Hey, kitty. They've been so riled up for so long about foolishness. They've been victims for so long about things that are normally just rules, that there's no way that this can sustain itself, Laura. There's no, and this is why they want a dictator. They've lost their minds out here.
Oh,
They need someone to spank them. They're looking for a good spanking, guys.
yeah, well, they say that they got to take back the country because politicians are taking control.
Oh, God.
I mean, what?
I got nothing. Congrats, Arizona. Congrats, Republican Party. You made us laugh today. Is there anything else going on? At least they're only being violent to each other. What about us? What do we have going on against us?
Well, they're trying to keep Biden off the ballot in Ohio now.
Oh, man. There's another one, guys. Listen to this, guys. This is important.
So this morning, 4 hours ago, Ohio's GOP governor orders special session next week to ensure President Biden's on the 2024 ballot. The whole reason they're saying he shouldn't be on the ballot is apparently because his nomination will come too late for the deadline. Yeah, it came entangled in partisan fighting to keep foreign money out of the state ballot campaigns. This is a year after cash tied to a Swiss billionaire boosted a successful effort to enshrine abortion rights in the red state's constitution. So the DNC, where he'll be formally nominated, falls after the August 7th deadline. The convention is held on August 19th through 22nd in Chicago. But they have done this before. This isn't the first time that the deadline might have been missed, and they have adjusted the rules to allow Mitt Romney and Obama on. But this is, in my opinion, this is a big FU to Biden, partly maybe because of the efforts to take Trump off the ballot.
In Colorado and Arizona. I believe also, because of the insurrection that he did. 14th Amendment. So there's a lot to unpack here, guys, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. 2012, Ohio comes up with this rule, basically as a poison pill. They said if the parties don't have their national conventions before 90 days before the ballot, then Ohio gets to not put the person on the ballot because no reason, just because. They don't know where this came from. People are acting surprised. Here you go, genius. Republicans have been waiting for a long time to destroy democracy. There's poison pills in every state. They have little rules that people think don't mean anything until they mean something. So when they passed this rule that you had to have your convention within 90 days of the election, or within 90 days of the time to put your name on the ballot, nobody knew it was a big deal. All right, now here we go. Fast forward. Every single year that since then that there's been a federal election, there's been an issue. But every single year there hasn't been an actual big deal in getting it undone or passed, or getting a supplication, right? Saying, well, we'll do it this time. We'll pass it and do it this time. Democrats, because they're feckless, because they're weak, because they lack vision, and because they're corrupt, have found themselves in the crosshairs of people who hate this country, otherwise known as Republican officials. So I don't care about what the reason is why they're doing this. Well, we're doing this because you wanted to get Trump off the ballot. It doesn't matter. The truth is, because you were willing to accept foreign money so that you could get abortion passed, now when somebody comes up with a completely logical bill that says, no, we don't want foreign money inside of our state, and believe me, that doesn't mean the Republicans are good for doing it, because they're going to repeal that bill the absolute next time they need the foreign money. But unfortunately, when both sides are corrupt, Democrats lose, because Republicans are always corrupt and are expected to be corrupt, are rewarded for their corruption by their constituents. So now our boy Biden might not be on the ballot because in order for you to get a deal, Democrats, you have to make up and come out of your pocket and say, you know what, we're going to sign this bill that says we can't use foreign money in our state. Can you imagine that being the crux? Good and decent people of YouTube, Laura, can you imagine that being the crux for keeping your president off the ballot? Because you can't sign a bill that says we don't want foreign money in our elections.
Democratic leader Alison Russo said that money from foreign donors is already illegal. The real issue is dark money going to candidates. And the GOP strategy is to change the rules when you can't win. They're terrified when citizens use their voice with direct democracy, so now they want to completely upend citizens' ability to fund ballot initiatives, and any talk of foreign money is a red herring. We must pass the Ohio Anti-Corruption Act, which would require dark money groups to identify their funders, disclose their spending, and strengthen the ban on foreign money.
Yeah, that's
Meanwhile,
all.
Republican politicians who hold supermajorities in both chambers of the state house must put politics aside and pass a clean bill to put Joe Biden on the ballot. Despite Republicans' political gamesmanship, we're confident Biden will be on the ballot.
Yeah, that's the deal. The truth is, dark money and foreign money are not the same things. Here's the other truth:
Yeah.
they both take them all, and they're arguing over semantics. Is what they're arguing over, to see who can use the most money from the darkest place tomorrow, as opposed to today. This is the same these same things rear their ugly heads for very, very serious issues. The reason why Judge Alito hasn't been called out, hasn't been impeached, is simply because there's so much blindfolding and corruption and both sides and ridiculousness going on. So now we have a judge that and Laura's going to tell you the story, who's flying flags of insurrection and white supremacy and Christian nationalism. Lo and behold, the same feckless Democrats who allowed this to happen, not that they voted for him, understand this, are can't figure out what to do. They can't figure out how to fight back. Yet, every time Republicans get a chance to fight, to take away your rights, to take away a vote, to destroy a ballot, to destroy your right to bodily autonomy, every time they get a right to gerrymander, every time they get an inkling to destroy a black vote, a woman's vote, to destroy equality, to destroy your history, to destroy slavery in a book, to take Rosa Parks and Dr. King out of school and put foolishness in, they find a way. And we're wondering, I wonder if they're going to get rid of the Christian nationalists on the Supreme Court. How are we going to do it, guys? That doesn't bother you? Tell the story. Tell them what happened, Lord, while I calm down.
Well, I just can't believe it wasn't brought to attention before now that Justice Alito flew an upside down American flag outside his home. Apparently, it wasn't just for a minute either. I'm not sure exactly how long it was up there, but long enough for people to notice and take pictures. So why was it not brought to our attention before now that this is, they claim to don't tread on me and the Constitution, this and that, and neutral Supreme Court, but yet he's flying the distress signal for the United States upside down. Now, I say he, this guy is, his excuse is that his wife did it because their neighbor had a "fuck Trump" sign on her lawn.
What
and
a
they
gentleman!
Found that they were so offended by that they had to hang the country's in distress upside down flag over it.
The lies are amazing. Just like how Jenny Thomas, the other Supreme Court Justice's wife, is out there talking about Stop the Steal and organizing ways to get illegal electors from Arizona in. So, do you want to know the reason why they're just now finding it? Because reporters needed access. Because in the back rooms, in the smoky deals where people are trading $1 million cigars and wives, what's happening is they hold these things as little pieces of leverage to get you to do this, to get you to do that. It has never been about showing the American people what's happening. It's always just a piece of leverage to use for my things, what I want, my boat ride, my company. I got this thing going on here and I can stay in office. So listen, I want you to know that I have this piece of information, but I'm not going to tell it on you. I just make sure that you vote right for this. That's why. That's why.
Well, it happened again as early as September 2023 when there are more pictures from his New Jersey vacation home flying this pine tree flag with the words "an appeal to heaven."
Yeah.
Which was the long forgotten flag, one of the flags flown during the Revolutionary War. And it's a symbol co-opted by Christian nationalists seeking to create a Bible-based federal government. And because Alito authored the majority opinion overturning Roe versus Wade, a massive win for conservative Christians, his apparent decision to hoist this flag stunned a large portion of the American populace.
It stunned a large portion of the American populace, except for the fact that the Speaker of the House is flying that flag already. Except for the fact that there are other Congress people who've already been flying that flag. Except for the fact that it's not Christian nationalist. That has been co-opted for years by white Christian nationalists, white power groups in the top of California and Washington that are right now training with M16s in the back of the woods for a revolution. Spare me what the populace was surprised. We have an entire party ready to go to war against its own country. These flags have been flying for years. And thanks to Donald Trump, it's become more of an acceptable thing to do. That's all, people. But
yeah, so one neighbor said seeing the flag showed his bias, and she went on to say people feel like they're entitled to do anything they want these days, and the only opinion that matters is their own. I mean, how far do we have to go before we normalize a lot of abnormal behavior?
Yeah.
I'd say there are no words, but there are words. It's about as dishonest as it gets.
It's gross. And if anything else, it should let us know, what we have to contend with. I'm not even going to get upset about this because the truth is, if we think that this faction of the Republican Party is somehow new or different or something has changed, it hasn't changed since the last Thank Ganja It's Friday. It hasn't changed since the time before that. It hasn't changed since the time I started this channel a year and a half ago. And I'm good here. This is the end of it. The right wing Republicans are trying to kill and destroy democracy, stamp it out under its dirty foot, write a new constitution where white men control women's bodies and black men and women are used for money making. And the rest of you poors fall where you may. That's been happening. Not about God, not about Christ, not about the Muslims. The powerful people in this country realize that the only way to get you to vote for things that are against your own interest is to first brainwash you on Sunday and then actually control you after you vote for them with a dictatorship, with Christian nationalism, with guns, and with judges to rule over you. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. If it don't realize it now, maybe you will soon. There's one side. We can talk about the corruption of the Democrats, but to talk about them is to be an American. We're always going to be talking about them. But understand, every single judge, every single right-wing politician, every single right-wing cop, every single right-wing governor, every single canon, let's talk about her, is here to destroy you for their own gain and profit. That's it. Go ahead.
Just lastly on that, there's 2 Democratic senators requesting a meeting with Chief Justice John Roberts to say what the hell is going on with Alito and Thomas. Yeah, well, they're asking for a meeting to discuss the Supreme Court ethics and take steps to ensure that Alito recuses himself from any cases before the court concerning January 6th and Donald Trump attempt to overturn the election.
Who are they asking?
We request a meeting with you as soon as possible in your capacity of Chief Justice and as presiding officer of the Judicial Conference of the United States to discuss additional steps to address the Supreme Court's ethics crisis, Durbin and Whitehouse wrote.
Oh, so you mean they're asking the other Republican judge who's already written written the statement that says they don't need policing and ordered and gave it to them? That's the person they're talking to. Gotcha. Go get them, Dems.
Yeah.
Go get them. Outstanding.
Just an interesting little tidbit that I saw this week about Katie Porter and James Comer getting together to work on the new ethics.
Hello, I'm Congressman James Comer from Kentucky.
And I'm Congresswoman Katie Porter from California.
I'm the chair of the House Oversight Committee.
I was the deputy chair of the Progressive Caucus.
I'm a Republican.
And I'm a Democrat.
And today we introduced the Presidential Ethics Reform Act, a landmark bill to deliver transparency to the American people.
Despite our political differences, we both understand how the lack of transparency in Washington is damaging Americans' faith in our government.
Our new bill would require presidents and vice presidents to disclose foreign payments, expensive gifts, loans, and tax returns before, during, and after their time in office. It also requires them to disclose conflicts of interest and family use of government travel for business purposes while in office.
These disclosures will also include information about immediate family members so that Americans know if relatives are receiving foreign payments or gifts on the president or vice president's behalf.
We want Americans to see for themselves now and in the future whether or not our leaders in the White House are influence peddling.
Requirements.
I got nothing. I told you before about that. Like, I don't know if she's a genius or we lost one, but I have to believe, because of how much that she's proven otherwise, that she's a genius, and I have to believe that she got James Comer to agree to doing this so that he looks like he's actually doing something about Biden's corruption, while also signing a bill that might actually do something about actual corruption. And so it may work out for both of them. But I don't know what to say about that. She might be a genius. Guys, look out for that. Look out for that. Leave it in the comment section if you've heard about this bill going on. What do you think, Laura?
It's a mystery to me, but I put my faith behind Katie Porter every time. So we'll see. We'll just keep an eye on that.
Mm-hmm.
So now to Eileen Cannon, who's doing everything possible to stop Donald from
Getting consequences, being thrown in jail, getting
for
consequences.
stopping the documents case, the stolen documents case. She's stalling it, and she's definitely she's put it off to indefinitely. She's put it off.
Yeah.
Saying that there's so much convoluted motions that it's so confusing. There's no way she can clear her desk of all of those motions in time. Oh, but the fact that she's scheduling hearings and multiple hearings, sort of one or two motions at a time, is compelling evidence that most federal judges would have long ago ruled on all the pending motions. And this is former Trump White House lawyer Ty Cobb saying this. And frankly, this case should have started trial yesterday or 2 days ago when the original trial date was set. And that Cannon is riddled with perceived bias and incompetence and has no business presiding over this case.
Yeah.
No, Cobb on Trump classified documents case says, I don't think this case will move at all. And it's just so obviously and easily and simple and straightforwardly provable. You should have been.
So, I mean, listen, everything.
I don't really believe that Cannon was just randomly picked on the draw, but that's just my opinion.
No, what happened is decent people made the decision to proceed with decency. Jack Smith said simply, if I take this to DC, all of the whiny MAGA people will say that I was being biased. And so, in order to have no vision of being biased, those great normal Americans will see that I allowed it to happen here. That's why he had a choice to take it there. He decided not to because he didn't want to be perceived as being biased. Meanwhile, the judge in front of the case not only doesn't care about being perceived as being biased, she doesn't care about being perceived as being incompetent either. As a matter of fact, she's as low as she needs to go to do whatever needs to be done for the dear leader. And the decent people didn't figure it out. The decent people thought that decency would be reciprocated. It will not be reciprocated.
According to Ross' story, she's being accused of effectively creating a shadow docket, a secret docket, according to Lawfare's Roger Parloff. He pointed out the judge may have created a secret docket that can be compared to the Supreme Court's reported shadow docket, which is where the court rules on procedural matters such as scheduling and issuing injunctions.
Yeah, everything that I said before stands, people. We're giving
The
you the
last
news. We're giving you the news just so you know. But everything I said before stands. Canon is indecent. Everybody knows it, and then some people, um, because they're white and privileged, looked at other white people with privilege and said, "You know what? I don't think that they would go this low." And every time they did that, those indecent people, this is my promise to you. If anybody who did the things that these people do, if MAGA was a black movement and not a white, racist, upside down flag, Christian nationalist movement, all of this would have been done and people would have been behind bars 4 years ago. It's hard for white people to hear this when I say it, because you think I'm talking about you. If you're watching this, I'm not. Those other ones are against you too. They just see me differently. Okay, this is it. Jack Smith and the MAGA movement. If the MAGA movement, if Trump, if any of them weren't what they are, Jack Smith would have never given the leniency or expected some sort of decency to come back. He would have known that he's dealing with animals. Am I making sense, Laura? You realize what I'm saying? You hear me?
Mhm.
It's so bad on that side because we've let it go so far because we thought that they were just regular people. We got more to talk about, but people, this has been the theme. I didn't know this was going to be the theme. Maybe it's because of how I'm feeling. Maybe it's because of what I've been going through the past few days. If it's harsh, I apologize, but it's necessary. We are at a precipice. Judge Cannon exists because we've given leniency and decency to people who will never return it. When Donald Trump says that ridiculous parable about "you knew I was a snake before you let me in," every black person in America was saying that, and no one listened. No one listened. They all thought it was fun and games. They all said, "Well, it's ridiculous, but I mean, what's the worst that could happen?" We happen to know. American Indians know the worst that can happen. That's why it mattered to us. Black people know the worst that can happen. Women, black women, first of all, know the worst that can happen. Women as a whole know the second worst that can happen. We have let it go. We, culturally, all of us, have let it go. When they say, "Well, you know what? The reason why Democrats aren't being believed when they say that this is our final election, this election is so important, is because they've always been saying that." Yes, we have! Because it didn't start here. We saw it when it started with Reagan, when he called us welfare queens and he made you judge your other American. We saw it with Bush. We saw it when the wealth inequality was dire and trickle-down economics peed in our mouths. We saw it coming. Yes, we've been saying that it needs to happen. This election is important. It's our last one because we know that it didn't start yesterday. My God, let it start today. See it now. Your judges are gone. The ballots will be gone. Stop treating them with decency and treat them with power. If you have a Democratic legislature, If you have a Democratic majority, use the power now. Now. Use the power now. 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 That's all I have today. I'm sorry. Laura, thank you. Thank Ganja it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Well, it's not only just the most important election, it's probably the last election if things go wrong. So
Yeah. People, good indeed. We've gotten 150 new subscribers because of a song that happened with bleach blonde bad built
Butch
body.
Now copyrighted by Jasmine Crockett.
Yes. We got 150 new subscribers. You know why? Because somebody fought back for once against the indecency. That's why. You thought it was silly. It's not silly to us. You know why? Because the next black person, the little black girl in Texas that has eyelashes on and is wearing her nails long because it's part of her culture and how she grew up, looks at Jasmine Crockett and says, wow, I can do that now. She said no to the bully and didn't act with decorum. Decorum works for the powerful. Decorum works for the people who are already over you. Rosa Parks said no. That's it. And it's in the history books. Jasmine Crockett said no. You look like an orangutan. And it's funny. You have a badly built butch body. But the point of it was, you're not going to step on me anymore. And every black girl and black boy and white girl and white boy who's been seeing things falling down around them have stopped with the decorum already and have seen it for what it is. It was important. It was important. It was important. We have gotten 150 new subscribers since then because people see how important it was. Thank God for comedy and satire. It's been used since the ancient Greeks to progress democracy. But if that's not all it was, remember that. The only way to do this is not through heeing and hawing. It's no longer that. We will no longer be decent. We will no longer have decorum while the other side is indecent and lacking decorum. We fight back with our words. We fight back with the law. We fight back with our fists if we have to. But we are no longer decent. Thank God for was it bleach blonde, bad built butch body. All it was a word. And that's where I'm leaving it today.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Guys.
Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for becoming a part of this family. I hope you see that my passion doesn't come from hatred. It comes from love of the country and you, which is why I want you to be passionate. Thank Ganja. It's Friday. Smoke one for me, guys.